also wrote down the whys, why that is important.
Yes.
You know, generational wealth, to give them the skills and the trades that they need just in case what they want to do in life doesn't succeed. They
Right.
want to succeed in their life. They got something to fall back on. Things
Right.
like that, you know.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially live. Okay, so we want to take a moment to introduce everyone to Conversations Under the Hood. Thank you for joining us this evening. For those who are joining us live, and for those who are watching this video after we have launched it, we thank you as well. Tonight we have the four hosts. I'm going to let everybody just kind of go around the room and introduce themselves, and we can start anywhere. I guess most people already knew who I am, so maybe I'll just start and then we'll just go from there. But as you know, I'm Robert Helm. Mr. All Sports Headgear is my AKA name, if you will. And, you know, I decided to get involved with doing podcasts to really motivate other people to get involved in business and entrepreneurship, because that's what I do. That's what I've been doing pretty much all my life. And that, as well as having the desire to be family, I think that's really the basis of why I wanted to do Conversations Under the Hood. So for many of you who are watching this, you probably already know about my background, but I'm an inventor, entrepreneur, and I have been for 30 plus years. So that's me in a nutshell.
All right. Well, I am Dr. Linwood Helm. Again, I'm the CEO of Pilot Division Construction, CEO of All Sports. This is my employee, aka my husband, and COO. So I do everything that I can to help. But outside that, other than ensuring that our businesses and everything that we do runs smoothly and we support each other, we help each other. Wherever I'm weak is strong, and wherever it's strong, I'm weak. So we have 5 kids together. Been married for 24 years now.
Wow.
It's going to be 25 years August next year. So we're going to be celebrating that one.
Congratulations.
Yes. I'm working together, and with all that being said, I will pass it over to George.
I'm George Sanchez, entrepreneur,
The
ex-boxer.
camera, it's over that way.
Yeah.
Ex-boxer. I'm just your average Joe.
Your average JoJo.
He's more than that. He's more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Let me just speak up for him.
Definitely, man. You definitely can't sell yourself short,
Yeah.
bro.
Boxer.
Amazing, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
won many matches. We know about that.
Look them up.
Yeah.
All right. So on to you.
So I'm Robert Green, stage name, also known as Compass Ion. That's my stage name for GTPI Music. I am field supervisor and foreman for QBC. Other than that, I am just an average Joe. So I've been in construction for about 20 years. That's pretty much what I do. And I'm here to help grow this team and help build with these guys and try to, reach our full potential. So there you have it.
All right. Well, that's great. It's good to have all of you guys and my wonderful wife to come together this evening. For anyone who has saw the title of this show is The Business of Family. And as I said, being an entrepreneur as well as being a family man, I think it's important for us to, really push that culture of, creating opportunities for yourself and then capitalizing and maximizing on them, with the youth, right? And so, we've done different things like written by kids, which actually was something that my daughter started, right? We talk about kids. She was 10, 11 years old, and she got into writing and, public speaking and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. And before she even grew to that, she just used to sit around the house and write and draw, all that. And, being an entrepreneur, I observed that. I'm like, man, she loves this. She always wants us to spend money on buying, paper and crayons and, all of this stuff. And so I'm like, man, if we're going to be spending money, maybe we should make some money, And so that's pretty much what, that's pretty much how it really developed, We started to just compile all of the things, because I'm talking about, it sounds crazy, man, but she had stacks, bro.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, it seemed to be almost abnormal, like she would write and draw and write and draw.
Yeah.
And so,
And finding the resources is one of the mistakes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And if you don't have, there's nothing better than to to make money on a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's not
Yeah.
work.
Because
Right.
you're doing
You're really enjoying it. And, I mean, you're doing a hobby, but you're making money on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing better than that. Really.
Right.
So,
And also, it's like, what do you expose your children to?
yeah.
We turned off cable. So their form of entertainment was drawing, reading, and everything. And that's
Right.
how their hobby really developed,
Yeah.
right? And not only we turned off cable because we wanted to make sure that the content that they consume is not so influenced by the media.
Right.
You
You
know, 'cause
never,
I mean,
I
yeah,
believe you never truly find yourself who you are
exactly.
being with all these other influences, you know, influences
Right,
on social
right.
media, TV, whether it's the people you hang out with
Right.
or affiliated with or whatever it may be, you know. So,
Right. So you
Right.
model
I
your
believe that's-
identity after your
Right.
favorite influencer or TV host and what
Right.
have you.
right.
And that in itself.
And it's kind of unfair.
Yeah.
You don't get a decision, a chance to find yourself before you decide who you really want to be, you know, without those
Exactly.
influences. Sometimes you get good influences and
Yeah.
it makes you turn into the person you are.
Yeah.
But those are influences that are good and promoting and, you know, they
Yeah.
get
It
you
depends
there.
on the person that's following too.
True.
Yeah.
If they gonna wanna be, they just wanna be straight up like that person. Then
No, not that, but you use what you can from that person to
Yeah, yeah.
further you. You know,
Yeah.
you always find something good in somebody else. Characteristics may be
Yeah.
things that make that maybe you don't have, you may
taking
lack,
pieces, yeah.
and
Yeah.
just use that. You know, you like something about that person. Man, the way he carries himself is nice. The way he speaks to people, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
and you
yeah.
may start
Yes,
carrying
yes.
yourself doing that. You know, so
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
influences.
Yeah, it's really interesting because not only that when you're young, especially when you're a teenager, you know, you're easily influenced.
Mhm.
So while you're working on, you know, trying to figure out who you are as a person, you're also watching TV and you're modeling yourself out, you know, from somebody you really like.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, for instance, you know, coming from South Africa, I thought, you know, the American life was just amazing. You know, so when I watched TV, I watched the teenagers that I wanted to be like, right? So then I started to try to change my accent, you know, to sound like those teenagers that I was watching. Like Moesha, for instance,
Right.
was one of the shows that I watched.
Right.
You know, but what was interesting is that I learned I had a very wise mentor, if you will, and we ended up being kind of like my adopted father, who told me that people receive you better if you stay yourself. Don't try to be someone else because everyone else is taken. So when you try to be like somebody else,
Right.
you're not being very authentic, and that is really obvious to a lot of people. So working on your own identity is much better. Oh, I tried them all, you know. So that's why still today, after 30 years of being in this country, I still speak with an accent because I've learned that I'm received much better if I'm my own authentic self than trying to put on a persona. So, you know, that's, you know, and the kids do that all the time because they're so easily, you know, influenced. So we gotta watch, you know, how, what we expose our kids to. You know, whether it's financial intelligence, emotional intelligence, business acumen, you know, and so forth and so on.
Right. I agree.
No, that makes sense. I mean, well, and again, we were talking about written by kids. You know, that whole concept, like, she didn't see it as, you know, my daughter didn't see it as, or I don't know, I should say, didn't really see it as a business thing. It was just a fun entertainment, yeah. And so,
Passion, I would say, more than that, because you have to have a passion for it.
absolutely,
Right,
that's
right.
yeah, exactly. And matter of fact, that was one of the points that, man, I'm jumping around now because you're talking about passion, and that was one of the things that I really wanted to drive home about our youth, and particularly when we're talking about family, is, you know, when your child demonstrates what their passion is, or if you are lucky enough to
really enjoy it.
observation, if there is an opportunity to cultivate that and, you know, steer that towards business, you know, it's hard for young people to put a dollar with what they're doing because they haven't had to pay for things, you know,
Yeah.
necessarily.
That's
So,
part right there, yeah.
yeah, but if we, as parents, you know, kind of have the mindset of entrepreneur, right, and have the observation to, or what would you say, through observing them and finding those passions, be able to kind of like lead them into ways to show them how they can turn that into something that can produce for them. You know what I mean? Like now, my daughter, you know, she went from doing all of that. She went through this written by kids. She published all of these books, and then she moved on to something else.
Yeah.
But
But
guess
she
what?
got lucky though, because you know about business.
Yeah. Well, again,
Because
yeah.
if there was a parent that don't know nothing about business,
True.
and he's gonna be like, well, that's a hobby. Just keep on playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's again, that's what Conversations Under the Hood is meant to kind of fill that little
Yeah.
niche, if you will.
Yeah.
It's like
Because
to
you can make a hobby a business.
yeah, you can, and I think the sooner that parents are able to see that, it's easier to invest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you haven't, if you struggle financially to some extent, right? To go and buy coloring books, especially specialized coloring books,
Yeah.
or sketch paper or pencils and things, that stuff is costing quick.
Mm-hmm.
So investing in that for leisure is one thing, right? It's like, as a parent, I can just say for myself, it was hard for me to go buy, these markers that cost $20 a marker, and see the benefit of that, right?
But you saw the business part of it.
After
And
the
that's
fact.
what
Yep,
made
that's
you invest. You're like, okay, I'm not only buying this to make her happy, I'm investing.
right. And that was, like I said, through
You gotta
observation.
have that mentality though.
Right.
I just have to say, okay, so some of us, when you grow up poor, you have a tendency to overcompensate, Because I looked at the things that I didn't have, right? And then so what I do, I over provide for my kids, and sometimes I can deprive them, the ability of that entrepreneurship you're talking about, right? Because we just give, and when kids sometimes don't work or see the value or see the hard work behind all these material things and whatever else we're giving the kids, they really don't develop that entrepreneurship.
Yeah, because they don't see the value in it.
Because we give them, and I'm guilty of that. I know that for certain that because, like I said, I grew up poor, but that's relevant, right? I was never hungry because whenever I was hungry, I could just go in my backyard, have a fresh banana, mango, papaya, sugar cane, everything, you have it. So it depends. Some people, when they say poor, they mean that children go hungry. That was not my story. I had fresh food all the time, to eat because
I guess there's a different level of poor, I guess.
right. Oh, it just really depends on whose definition, right?
Yeah,
Am I poor because I didn't have
Agriculturally,
TV?
it makes a difference.
Yeah,
too.
because I remember for me it was the same way. Like, if I was hungry, I go to the neighbor's house, he's helping me out.
Right.
Or, like you said, I'll go to the backyard and find bananas or something to eat.
Right. And you from Puerto
Puerto Rico, yeah.
right? Yeah, and I'm from South Africa, so you
Yeah.
see how common that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somewhere else, maybe.
And your neighbors, they're more than willing to, feed you. They don't,
especially your
in
kids.
the neighborhood, you're everybody's like family.
Right.
Yep.
One big community.
Yeah, it's one big community.
Yeah, and everybody's very paying attention. Have you ever seen
You ain't
that?
kidding about that.
Yeah,
So
that,
true.
yeah, that village or community mother will come to you like, hey, are you hungry?
Yep.
Your lips are a little chapped. Have you
Yeah.
eaten today?
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're being fed by
And if
somebody.
you're dirty, I remember when I was dirty, like, you better go home and get you clean yourself, kid. You're looking dirty.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I come from, it's like, come here, I need to introduce you to some soap and water. So when your mom comes home from work, she doesn't have to worry about you being dirty. So because everybody was working together.
Yeah, so true. So true.
Listen, let's steer this into a little slightly different direction. Like I'll just pose a question, and then that way we can kind of respond to that, right? Because the one thing I want to make sure we get out of the general conversation is some kind of deliverables, if you will, right? Whoever is watching us, hopefully be able to walk away with something. And so, considering that, if we also consider the fact that we're talking business and we're talking family, I would pose the question to each of us: like what advice would you have for parents or for children, right, who are maybe maturing into their teens or late teens, even, just to be able to position themselves for better opportunities when it comes to either employment or in the case of those who identify potential business opportunities to move into that direction. And I think, I just want to put that out there so we can kind of, attack that from, you talked about from being Puerto Rico, you talked about from being from South Africa. So I feel like, it would be some unique, I think, contributions from maybe what.
But at the same time,
Okay. I thought this thing stopped. Yeah. All right, you guys go ahead and
Yeah,
answer
go
the
at the
question.
same time, like you come from where you come from tonight. We come from where people don't know nothing about business.
But they're
So-
entrepreneurs though.
Huh?
Don't sleep on them until
Yeah, they're entrepreneurs because I'm an entrepreneur and I came from that.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that somebody saying, hey, there's something out there
Yeah.
to help you make that bigger
Yes.
than what you see.
And sustainable.
Yeah,
Right.
because I remember when I was sewing shorts,
Yeah.
making those shorts, I was doing it for free for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just because it was a hobby. I'm like,
Right.
you don't have to pay me, it's a hobby. I'm having fun with it.
Right.
And then one of my friends told me, why are you just giving this out for free?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's nice that you give it out for free.
Mm-hmm.
But think about it in a business way.
Same
But I
thing.
didn't know anything about
I
business.
understand that. Same thing, music.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, I've been making music for 20 years.
Yeah.
And
You
haven't
probably
done-
was doing beats for free.
And yeah, that part, and making music just for people to hear for free,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and still do it.
And
Yeah.
You
but
know.
you didn't know that you can make something out of that.
Right.
More than just, it's you're helping others, but
Yeah. You can capitalize.
one hand watches the other, is the way I see it.
Yeah, you can have. That's really interesting because we have this mentality of just hustling, right? Instead of
Mhm.
thinking about how we can grow business and make it sustainable,
Mhm.
right? And most of us, in entrepreneurship, it's like we discovered it because we had to survive.
Mhm.
And then it becomes kind of like a hustling show instead of having a vision, and
Yeah.
even thinking about what do I want to see this business look like 5 years from now, and then start by having first of all you gotta commit to your vision, right?
Mhm.
Because if you don't commit to your vision and your mission,
So
for that
true.
matter, you're all over the place. You're
Mhm.
hustling, you're helping your homies, your
Yeah.
friends or what have you.
And you forget about yourself.
Right. So you're not thinking about your future, the future of your children,
Mhm.
the future of your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, your great great grandchildren,
Mhm.
right? Because you're thinking, and
Yeah,
I'm
legacy, yeah.
guilty of this as well, right? Sometimes I say to my kids, hey, I worked very hard for this. You need to work very hard for it as well, so you understand, the value, of, all these things that we're giving you.
Right.
But then, is that a really good way to teach our kids? Just because I suffer, you might suffer too. So to understand, how this is, I'm
Right.
just wondering,
I mean,
because
yeah. I think it depends too. Like you still gotta watch out for those people that you're helping out and they take advantage of your help.
Right.
yeah,
Not everybody's out there. You don't find
To
everybody
grow
nice.
from your
Right.
willingness and
There's
Wow.
people that
but
they
maybe because
see
they're
you
hustling.
and you're a tool. You'll get me to this part and bye bye.
Yeah, but what if they're hustling too?
Yeah, but that's part of hustling though.
Hey,
Yeah, like
right.
I'm hustling. I'm gonna take from this, and it's so interesting because when we think about QVC employees as well,
Mhm.
we're looking for employees who can understand the vision, of the QVC. Understand that if I do my best and help this company grow,
I
not
grow
only
with it.
I have nothing wrong with it, I have employment for life.
Mhm.
And I work with people that I know very well, that I'm
Mhm.
connected, that they are looking for my best interest. They're not just looking
That's
at me
the
as
thing
an
right there.
employee, right? They're
Yeah.
looking at me as a whole human being.
Yeah.
Everything else that I come with. So, as we hire people, we're also looking for that mindset, commitment, dedication, but not just so QVC can grow and be, or all sports can
Right.
be bigger than it is, but for you
Everybody
and your
in there
children. You realize that
involved,
if this becomes extremely successful, lot of finances, that means you have employment, your children can be employed, their children's children. So it can be much bigger than what we're looking at it today.
for sure.
It's just that it starts with us.
Right.
Instead of hustling like, hey, I'm gonna make this paycheck and I'm out.
And a
Right?
lot of
And then
people
you're
think that
forever looking for a
A lot of
job.
people are programmed that way
Well,
too.
that's
Yeah.
because people get hustling and hustle mixed up. and they mean two different things.
Hustle is get it for yourself.
Yeah,
Hustling is get it from somebody else.
Yeah, just take it. Yeah, exactly. Taking advantage versus hustling is putting in that work to actually just get it. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I think it's easy to get lost in that, you know, definition, if you will.
Yeah, as a South African, all I can think of is that every day I'm hustling.
Right.
I don't know what else to say, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
So let me say this, because I think again from talking about family and business, right? That's something that we do have a unique insight on because our businesses, right? Positive business construction, you know, all sports, driven by kids, active distributing, like all of the things that we've done have been family-oriented businesses, and we have led with that mindset of the people that we work with to be family or family-oriented, which we've been able to, you know, just like having you both involved in the things that we are trying to accomplish. That family, that bond, that, you know, that unique characteristic that we're talking about.
Because you guys are willing to share that.
Right.
There's people out there, they're not willing to share that.
Right.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, well, I mean, my goal personally has always been to do something, to be an example for someone or the world in a way where, and if that means just living my life in a way that somebody can look back and say, that ain't a bad path to follow. You know what I mean? Or something like, not that I'm trying to be perfect or think I'm perfect, but, you know, that's having a family that hopefully our bond, the things that we do, our desires, our goals, our aspirations, are those types of aspirations. Because it's not the quote unquote hip hop mindset or that, you know, type of thing. It's like we want to build really a wholesome, loving environment. And one thing that I often say, man, and I may have even said this to you all. I know I said it to my wife here on different occasions, but like what I really struggle for is finding positivity, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I try to engage in life like everybody else, you know, from the social networks to the face-to-face interactions, and try to find some fulfillment in some enjoyment. But just like we all just said, not everybody. Matter of fact, most people probably there's an ulterior motive there, even if it's slightly good, you know. And to find yourself in a place where you can just be loved and love people freely, that's I think a far and few between. And if you're ever lucky to experience that, then you'll understand what I'm saying. And so I think, you know, if we can move towards that, and that's part of the foundation of, or core value, if you will, of the conversation under the hood concept, man, is really to bring positivity, whether we're talking about business or whether we're talking about family, but bring that positive element, man, and try to share that with even if it's only one person, man, you know, because what I wanted to do from the entrepreneurial side of things, funny enough, is when the reality TV became really popular, right, in the early 2000s. I was like, man, you know, I want to do a reality TV show too, because I had opportunities to be on a reality TV show, but I didn't accept the opportunity. And part of it was because the paperwork, you know, the complexity of that and so forth. But when I thought about it, I'm like, why is it that anything that I turn on to watch, even if they sell it as a positive thing, it always goes negative first, and then the end result be positive. Is there not a person in the world who experiences a positive, then a positive, and then end positive? You see what I'm saying? Like, why does it have to be you gotta fall on your face first to get up and be happy? And that's where I'm trying to get to a point where there are experiences in life where you can just be happy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you can start happy, you can maintain happy, and you can end happy. Is that everything? No, but it's a thinking. It's a way of thinking, and I think that's what we've lost because we've been bombarded with so many negative things, whether it's through social media. Like you hear people talking about, oh, such and such is just flossing because they got this and that and this and that, and I'm like, so you either got people that speaking negative on that because they hating because they don't got it, or you know whatever the situation is. And I'm just like, that's another reason why I want to do this.
It's nice to hear that, but at the same time, in my opinion, if you don't struggle with it, how are you gonna appreciate it?
There is that, you know, I think I've heard that many a times, and I even feel that way. Like, it's kind of like the school of hard knocks in a way, right?
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily talking about that so much, but I'm just saying in life experience in general, not necessarily to
Even with life experience, that struggle you go through, because it's happened to me. I'm talking from my own experience, where I struggled, and then it's like, wow, and then I see the me surpassing that struggle, like go over that hill or whatever I went through. Be like, man, it's like now I appreciate what I have because what I had to go through for this.
Right.
You know, it's the most interesting question I usually get from people being a South African. It's like, hey, do you feel fortunate now that you're in America and you have access to all this material things and what have you? Nobody ever bring mental health or anything like that, right? And I can't help it. I have my PhD in health administration, so I'm exposed to a lot of other things that we should be considering. But the question that usually comes up is like, do you feel lucky because you're here now and you have all these American things that I know to your access, and there's something really troubling about that mental state that I have to be shown somebody was doing worse than me or less than me to feel lucky. I always battle with that, right? And so I'm going to tell this too. I suffered and therefore I appreciate what I have. I literally get it, you know what I'm saying, because it teaches you to really try to sustain and not be wasteful and all of that, because you grow up not having anything to waste, right? So I get that. But one thing that I've learned when I look at my kids that are American and born here, they cannot relate to what I went through. So for me to teach them, to value things, what mindset, what I'm saying, and why do I get upset when they say, Mom, if you asking me to finish my food because people around the world are starving, why don't you just send it to them? I'm full. I don't want to eat this food. You know what I'm saying? So shaming kids who finish their food because you give them an example of somebody who has less than them. Is that in itself healthy?
No, that makes sense because you don't have to struggle. The thing is, you don't have to, but you have to nurture the mind. I think that's the little switch that has to happen in order for it
and
to.
knowing what a struggle really is, and you have to be able to differentiate like what is a struggle in your eyes, because everybody struggles different.
Right.
Some
And
people
what's
struggle
struggling
with
to you
mental
may not
health.
be a struggle to you, and what's a struggle to you may not be a struggle to me.
Exactly.
So.
And like I said before, like I was poor, but I didn't know I was poor.
Right.
Right. And well, you know what?
Until somebody tells you you're poor because you don't have that 65-inch TV screen in your front end. But you're like, I'm not poor. I ate fresh food from my backyard.
Right.
I wear one set of uniform to school Monday to Friday. And on weekends I play on the street with, moonlight until our children call our name to come home, take a bath and go to sleep.
Right.
So really, you don't have time to think about, oh my God, I'm poor. I don't have big TV. I don't have cheesecake or whatever. Depending on whose definition poverty is.
It's all about exposure.
Right.
So true.
Everything has to do with
key
that.
word right there.
Yeah, exposure. Yeah.
So again, let's kind of see if we can massage out some good quality gold nuggets. You call it takeaways, right? Takeaways are well, and let me ask it like this, because you are in leadership, right? And you have several people that you work with as well as who works underneath you.
Right.
And so we can talk about the corporate world, right? From the various and same with you work for a major company as well, and in some form of leadership as well as you. So considering that, let's talk about again. If we try to merge the idea of family and business, because business, don't get it confused, meaning just going out and starting a business. Because to me, to me, business equals dollars. You know what I'm saying? So whatever that business is, it translates into money, right? So let's talk about that from our personal experiences, right? Let's talk about you as a leader, like what advice would you have for someone who is seeking to improve themselves? And like, let's just use a blank example employee, right? That has a desire to move up maybe in pay or move up in position or enhance their skill set or something of that nature, right? Like, is there something that, like, a simple piece of advice that you could encourage someone to do to say, hey, if you want to have the best chance at making that first step, consider this? Because I would think that, well, we know how some corporations work, but like a lot of stuff has to start with the personality characteristics, right? Improving certain aspects of yourself to position you, right? Would you agree? So, what do you have any?
Well, yeah, kind of, right? So motivation comes from within. I think that's, what you articulated there. But most of the time I tell people that whatever it is that you're trying to do, there's always somebody who's done it.
Right.
So the first thing that you can do, ask questions, ask for help, right? You don't have to suffer trying to figure it out yourself. So me being in a leadership position, I always share this with my employees. If you want to be somewhere, if you see yourself doing something different or being somewhere within 5 years, the best thing that you can do is talk to your leaders, your supervisor. Hey, I really am interested in doing X, Y, and Z. So good leaders, are listening, and good leaders, my favorite style of leadership is servant leadership, right? I want to serve my team. So if you tell me what it is that you're interested in, first thing is, if I have the knowledge in the area you're interested in, I'll start sharing right away. And I'll start telling you how to position yourself and start setting goals. And we can set these goals together. Right? And so, but first thing, before I go too much into details, is just that identify people who have done whatever it is that you want to do, before. If you want to be in a position of leadership, look for your organization. You have leaders. You have your immediate supervisors. They have supervisors. And look for mentors, within the organization. And I also went to Michigan State University, one of the Big Ten universities.
Go green, baby.
Go white.
Yeah.
And it was such an amazing, humbling opportunity. But I'm forever looking at the leaders, not for me, and see, and I always find a leader who's honest, a leader who's really about to serve the organization, our students, faculty, and everybody else. And I try to model myself with the leaders that really their leadership style resonates with me. Integrity, honesty, empathy, more than anything. Because when I look at everybody I work with, like, most of my employees will tell me that they will call us her colleagues, right? Just because I'm their supervisor doesn't make me any better than them. It literally just gives me an opportunity to serve them, right? And that's what I love the most. But I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah.
So more than anything, one, identify people who have already done what you're looking to do. Two, never be shy to ask for help, whether it's even your questions.
Right.
Three, be courageous. It's really scary to, like, let's say for instance, I look at my CEO, CIO, somebody that I model after, and they've done something that I wish I could do. It can be really intimidating to send an email or give them a call and say, hey, I really would want 5 minutes of your time, to try to tap into that wisdom that you're looking for. It can be intimidating. So one thing that I'm also working on is that we work on that courage.
Right.
Be scared, but do it anyway.
Right.
Because it can also go two ways. You can get a no or you can get a yes. But that's
the worst. What's the worst they can say?
Either
Right,
right where you
exactly.
started or
So
you further
be
in.
courageous and be strong enough to
Don't
take
be afraid to hear that.
risk.
Right.
You're gonna hear that.
And for leaders, for me anyway, as a servant leader, I don't think it's really helpful to really like want to watch people suffer because you suffer to get where you get at, right? Like, okay, right now I'm assistant director, right, at MSU IT. So if somebody wants to become a leader like that, it is best to share every information that you have and help them. Not to say, hey, I learned the hard way, so they gotta learn the hard way too.
Right.
I don't find that
Right.
helpful at
It's
all.
That goes into what you were saying though,
But-
about
Yeah.
people suffering kind of first before you get to the glory in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm using different words, but
But-
the same thing.
Yeah, I don't mean really suffering. I mean put the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you put work in it,
Mm-hmm.
you appreciate it more.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, if it's given to you, how are you gonna appreciate that?
Mm-hmm.
So
there's no work put into it.
So let's go ahead, Ron. Go ahead.
I mean, go ahead. No, I'm just thinking, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's dive into that a little bit. So if you don't put in the work, so is that really a real statement? Is that more an emotional statement? And I'm asking that because if you look at the other experiences in your life that you didn't really have to do anything for,
Did you appreciate it?
is there anything there? Anything? Because
Yeah,
you might look at, there's more overwhelming circumstances here than over here, but would you say that that's
In my own experience, I don't think I had anything given to me. Like,
well, hey, I mean that's real talk, man. You know what I mean? Because again, that's what I was really looking forward to.
I don't think I ever had that experience of it's in a silver platter.
But then you do that for your kids, right? You give kids a silver platter.
I've done that.
Yeah.
And then I regret it.
Yeah.
All right. So what would your advice be then? You know, if we pose the same question to you, you know,
Because I'm going through that really right now with my son. He says, I want a dog. There's a dog. Don't walk it. Don't feed it. I said, there's work for that. You know, I'm over here walking your dog, feeding your dog. You know, and all you want to do is maybe play with it 5 minutes, and it's doing what, and then here it's now you do the rest. Like, I mean, that it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, because I mean, imagine if you went in that same
Because they were
situation
just given.
and he worked a summer job, right, to earn the money, to let's say $500, $1,000 to buy a dog, and then got it. Maybe, so I can, you know what I mean? Like I get it, because I know in my own personal experiences, there's been things that have been given to me that I probably worked for and didn't realize I worked for, so I assumed I didn't do anything for. But you know, but I'm sure you know that experience of working and I say, well, let me rephrase that, because for me, the way that I would relate to that more so is not having stuff is how I appreciate stuff. You see what I mean? Like I come from, like for me and my wife and my kids, you know, it's been years now. We're working on 25 years now. Yeah. So I've changed from over time from who I was, but a big part of my pushback has always been people not taking care of stuff like I take care of stuff, because for me, hey, I only get one. So it's like, hey, I'm gonna dust that mug off, and you know, I'm gonna do everything I can, wrap it up, you know, and you know, over time, realizing that it's more stress to try and get everybody on that side of the line, that you just have to slowly alter, you know, if you want to have
them grow within themselves at their own pace.
Some people,
where they are.
Everybody's got their own pace.
In
my opinion.
Yep. So you mentioned something about paying attention, right, on the leadership side. And Rob, before I go there, I want you to have a chance to talk about that same question from the leadership side. You know, so did you have anything that?
What was the question?
It basically, what question? I'm not speaking of a question. What gold nugget or what advice would you have for, you know, parents or even children, people who are looking to maybe move up and, you know, like in our particular case, I was talking about employment, right? There's a, you know, job maybe that they want, or skill set that they want to, you know, like what advice would you have for people to?
Well, it kind of goes back to what JoJo touched on and what Lindy Way touched on. You know, influences, models, role models, people, influences around you, people like that. You know what I mean? If it's something you want to do, then find a crowd of people or people that know how or are learning or pursuing the same thing that you want to do. And just surround yourself. And I think the biggest destruction of people is people, places, and things. The places you put yourself, the people you're hanging around, and the things that you do.
Right.
So if you find those common denominators amongst people that want the same thing that you have, it'll keep you focused in the same path. But you don't have to necessarily do exactly the way they do it.
Right.
And implement little things that they do into what you do to build a strong structure so you can build your own true way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And just stay positive. Just, you know, if you got a dream or passion, just stay looking forward and focused. Don't get off the beaten path.
Right.
And just keep everything positive around you. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
Staying positive, man, because it gets frustrating sometimes. You want to give up.
Mm-hmm.
You want to just find something else to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest things I would say is about being focused
Mm-hmm.
is don't you put too many irons in the fire.
Right.
Because we all do that.
Yeah.
You know, you got something burning over here, something burning over here.
Guilty as charged.
This thing will burn up because you just put this in the fire. You got to come back and look at this thing, and now you got to, you know,
Just like cooking.
you're scrambling, and, you know,
Yeah.
and so, and I'm bad at that, you know, and I
Yeah.
start something and not finish it, or I attempt something and get discouraged and don't think I can do it to the full potential.
Right. Right.
Right.
So I would stay focused, positive, your surroundings,
Mm-hmm.
keep everything positive and lovely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, I love it.
Positive.
So
Yeah.
that being said, I mean, like that's right in alignment with what I would suggest, right? Because well, when we were talking about families, I was thinking, all right, well, with families, for family business sake, or for the sake of young people who are aspiring to get in that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for families to get engaged with other families or other people who are doing business. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I would steer clear personally. Now, just feel free to do what you want, and if y'all opinions are different, I'm totally open to that.
Mm-hmm.
But my experience, those what they call give rich quick schemes or the pyramid schemes, you know, things like that. If that's what people are doing, I wouldn't necessarily go and say go model that or go jump into that. You know, you have to evaluate those things closely because there's a lot of scams out there. However, people who are, you know, lawn mowing businesses, painting businesses, or whatever types of services or products that they're offering, if you have the opportunity and the interest to become a business, it makes sense to surround yourself. And they have all kinds of like small business venues in various communities that will allow you to either go and support through purchasing products and services, or to go and present your product and service to be purchased in these environments. And those are really small, low-cost ways of entering or tapping into the small business community. It's a great way to test your product or service to see if there's a demand for it. But moreover, it's an opportunity for you to network with like-minded people who, if you are weak in some area of business, let's say not everybody know how to market, not everybody know how to advertise, not everybody know how to package it, you know, like all of these different things. The more people that you engage with, and the more opportunities that you have to do that, the greater chance of success in terms of learning, as well as presenting yourself or product. And me personally, what I like to do in those small business venues or like large conferences, like, you know, I went to like conferences in Vegas and places like that. I try to be there before everybody. You know what I mean? I want my stuff set up before everybody. You know why I do that? So I can walk around and talk to everybody. You know, because by the time all of the other vendors set up and all that, my stuff is done. That way I'm up there, hey, you need help? You know, I'm like building relationships, you know. Wow, that's dope, man. Where'd you know, like I'm saying, maybe I'm their first customer. Or maybe they my first customer. See what I'm saying? And there's a lot of that.
piece of the puzzle.
Remember how Deidre
The
was?
puzzle.
And now, you know, I've got multiple pictures from her, man. Thereafter, somebody we met at I thank God for her, bro, and the ancestors for her, for real, because like she took a bad day for me, man, and turned the sun bright as could be, man. I mean, like that's something I still, after it's been a couple of years now, right?
Was it a bunch of pictures?
No, man. We were setting up at a venue that we had been allowed to set up at a big venue here in
Moneyball.
Yes, Moneyball. Yep. They had the grand opening, man, and big, beautiful, you know, athletic store, and we just, you know, we got to set up and you know, have a little small spot up in the mix of all of that, man, and so that was exciting. But we get there to get set up and everything, and didn't have a table. So we ain't had no way to display our products. You know, I didn't have my display or anything yet. And so it was like, man, I said, you know, I instantly just like, dang. And the sister that was over here set up, man, she, you know, we got great products, CMOS products and stuff. You know, she was like, man, you need a table? Like, she shut her stuff down. She literally shut her shop down to go and get a table for me, bro. And when she came back, like, I couldn't stop thanking her because, like, that's as small as it is huge. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? In that particular situation. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so people like that, you know, and it kind of goes back into what I said about the positivity, or what we're talking about as far as positivity and giving and taking and giving and taking, you know, and so since then, since that experience, man, like I thank her several times for that. But we built a tremendous relationship around the table. A fold up
It's
plastic
nice to
table.
find those type of people.
Yeah,
Very
out of
nice.
nowhere, man.
Yeah,
You know,
acts
out
of
nowhere.
kindness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear, sometimes I watch on TikTok, you know, when people showing acts of kindness. You just never know,
Yeah.
right? And I always say being kind is free, really. But in the world that we live in, negative things sell. And we find ourselves being addicted to negative things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm guilty for that because I've been in the news like, oh my God, what happened this week? What happened this week? My husband is like, how does that help you? Other than keeping you in that dark place where, you know, the world just seems hopeless, you know. But there are so many other positive things that, you know, we can, you know, focus on, particularly if you find yourself in a place of leadership or in a place where you can share some positivity, you know, acts of kindness, you know, why not do it? Like the sister is talking about. She was so upset. She could have been selling her product, but she looked over. She's like, you know what? This brother doesn't have a table. The kindest thing I can do, since I know I have access to tables, is to, you know, make it very much better than it could have been.
And
Yeah.
she didn't have to do nothing because
She
it
didn't
wasn't
have
her
to do that.
show.
Isn't
It
that
wasn't
amazing?
nothing. I mean, she
Yeah.
her gas, everything. Like she left. She
See,
had to
and here
leave
we are
to go
talking
get it,
about
man.
this system.
You know, that's
you know
why I
what I'm
said,
saying?
wow,
Yeah.
that was huge. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
on the employment side,
Everything happens for a reason.
actually, hey,
Yeah.
and it, bro,
It
since
sounds
then,
like a cliche, but that's so true.
yeah, because you never know. Like you,
Yeah.
I have got probably on maybe 2 or 3 different occasions. She has sent me a message just out of nowhere, you know, taking a picture of herself with the All Sports and explaining the situation she was in. You know, she, because she didn't want to buy one. She didn't even want to buy one. You know, she was like, yeah, that's cool, but you know, I don't
Yeah.
really need that. I'm like, you know what? Since you helped me, you can have this. You know what I mean? And hopefully you will appreciate it. So I let her pick the one she wanted. And bro, like I said,
She's always sending me
yep, she's
events,
Yeah.
updates on events. She
Always.
was at an event today.
yeah.
She was
Okay.
at the farmer's market today.
Okay.
And advertising your
Yeah.
product for
Well,
free.
I mean,
Right.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I just appreciate, you know, the fact that there are some good people, man. And so again, that's why I want to do conversations under the hood. I want to have positive conversations, man, that maybe we can encourage other people. Like I'm looking at this now and I see it's a end test broadcast, so I'm thinking like I might have screwed something up here. And if so, I apologize, but hopefully this is captured in video because this has been a phenomenal conversation. It looks like we got about another 13 minutes before our hour is up. But I just, you know, wanted to say the part about my part, if you will, in terms of the leadership, the employment thing that we were talking about, like how can you position yourself to go forward. Me personally, what I've always done, and I can't say that I set out to do this intentionally, right? But somehow, some way it's happened. But for me, what I've always done is anytime I take a job, most often than not, you don't get hired for a job you don't know how to do. Would you agree? So you might not know how to do everything, but generally you know how to do the job, right? So, but after time, you should definitely know how to do the job, right? Since you've been doing the job, you should know how to do the job, right? So my thing is this. It's like, if I have to punch in every day to do the same job over and over and over again, and I haven't been fired, then I know how to do my job, right? So at that point, I should be on autopilot. It shouldn't really take a whole lot for me to do the same thing I'm doing every day. So what I do is now I start to use a percentage of my brain and my attention to watch what other people are doing. This way, if I want to move around in the company, and this has always worked for me, I can move up, I can move side, or I can move down, based upon knowing what other people's jobs are just from me observing.
Yeah.
Because it's no different than school, right? It's no different than somebody doing a presentation. It's no different than on-the-job training. It's no different than any of the formats that we currently use.
You gotta have that want though.
When I was on the roof, my first
You don't have that want.
Yeah, the motivation that
I was
comes
a
with
laborer.
it. Yeah,
I
it
was
motivates
passing
you.
shingles.
You know?
You know,
I've been there where
Hey,
And
we
I
got
was-
one conversation at a time.
and I was glad to pass singles because I was learning what they were doing when they were nailing. You know what I mean? I'm passing to the guy that's actually putting it, installing it onto the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And so by me staying with that guy, passing him shingles, getting what he needed, I'm not just doing my job and just passing him shingles.
Right.
I'm passing him shingles to find out what he's going to do with these shingles.
Exactly.
How do you install these shingles?
Right.
What do you do when you make a mistake? How do you do this? I'm learning that. Because
That's that
my mindset is, shoot, I'm only going to be a laborer for 2 weeks.
Right.
Next week, I'm nailing shingles. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I'm trying to learn every single thing that I can so I can pick up that nail gun in 2 weeks and go pop, 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 pop.
Right.
And earn more pay,
Yeah.
learn more.
Yeah, and
You
feel
know,
better
You
about
gotta
yourself.
have
right?
that want. You
Yeah.
gotta want.
And that's
You
just
don't
being
want
a
it.
team player,
Yeah.
right? If you know how to do your job and learn the totality, you know, of everything else that takes to accomplish whatever goal it is, then that way, not only you can, you know, capture all the opportunities to advance or to change if you wanted to, but from a leadership perspective, I'm looking at somebody who's so committed, right? They're not just doing their part and say, I'm done. They're also learning everything else because the trick or the goal is to get the job done
In the most efficient
in the
and
most
effective
efficient,
way.
Making
effective way.
themselves more
Exactly, and
valuable, too.
sustainable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So those are more, you know, those are like really valuable employees,
Right.
you know, to
Right.
me. You know, somebody who also say, hey, this is a job that needs to be done, not a job that needs to be done according to the rank,
Right.
right? You know, so that's you know that's a really good point. But you know, secondly, back on that positivity, it is also important to watch who you keep around you.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
you have negative people around you, they're gonna
So
keep
true.
you thinking negative.
Yeah.
You know,
So
and
true.
sometimes it's like most of the people who work with me and everything, at the end of all my email, I tell people have a wonderful day or have a good day. And it's not just a signature for me. It's like I almost want to remind people that sometimes you have to intentionally, you know, have a good day. You know what I'm saying?
I like
And,
that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
you'll be
nice to do that.
surprised.
I think it's,
Yeah,
to me,
not
it's like,
always nice, Jojo. The thing is, like, you'll be surprised
Yeah.
when you allow your mindset to think positive. Because if you're looking for negative things, you
It's
will
easy.
find it.
Yeah.
As long as you have more than
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
people working together,
Uh-huh.
there's gonna be a lot of other things you can look for,
Mhm.
and you will never disappoint yourself because you're looking for negative.
Right.
You'll find negative people. You'll find people negative views. You'll find anything you can find, but you can do exactly the same thing, looking for positive, right? You know, and we all know some days are good, some days are bad, depending on where you work on, you know,
Right.
where you work at and everything. But for me, it's like always trying to look for that positive people with positive energy. And I don't want to mention names, but there are some people when I go to the meeting, when it's their turn to talk, the first thing they say, hey, good morning, how's everybody doing today? That just uplifts me. It makes me feel, you know, happy. So then I realized that the rest of my day somehow gets better than for me to be reminded of all these negative things that are going on. Why do that? How does that help you anyway? You know what I'm saying? But then when you look at people that are doing negative, positive things, you know, keeping positive people around you, focusing on positive things, it really does even help your mental health. You know, it really helps you.
Oh man, without question. I mean, well, I just think about how even in my own self, you know, when I was younger, probably at some points even now, when you get angry or disappointed or what have you, like you can force yourself. And I had to I don't know if y'all had this experience, but I found myself at some point in my life realizing that I force myself to be angry sometimes because I don't have to be angry. But I'm like, no, you're gonna know. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Feel
You're
this
gonna feel
anger.
it. Yeah, you can feel that anger. And I'm like, so in that, it's self-serving, right? Because if you're not angry, but you want to make yourself angry so that somebody else can think that you're angry, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not, and that's
It's
what
going
you
with self-destruction. You're doing more damage to yourself
exactly.
than you are for the situation.
Exactly. So, you know, so I feel like, you know, again, this conversation's under the hood concept of having an open conversation and having the ability to talk about family and having the ability to talk about business. Either way is going to work because I enjoy business, but I enjoy family. And I enjoy family business. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm looking forward to us, you know, having ongoing conversations about, you know, those
integrating them, weaving them in and out, in and out. But some of our shows are just going to be, we're going to probably hammer business. Some events going to happen, and we're going to be talking business.
Yeah.
And speaking of business, I won't do it.
But you're making a really good point, right? It's like, what is the thing that drives you? What is your purpose,
Right.
in this life? And I will argue most of us is our family, right? That's our anchor right there.
Yeah.
And then it makes you think consciously. Like I have a nephew right now, him and his wife. I was so mesmerized, but they're going through a difficult time right now because they had lost in the family. But how intuitive they are to their children's needs, right? And how attentive he is to his wife, and vice versa. She does the same thing. I thought that is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? If you ever go anything, hard or difficult in life, having that strong family support, kids knowing that, hey, I have mom and dad who the sun rises and sets on me. It creates, better universe and that will argue. But yeah, so, no matter what we do, my husband is very good at reminding me on this, because sometimes when I get in my work mode, I just work. And, sometimes it's like, okay, what are you working for? Right, and who? Right, so my family. If I'm just working and not balancing that, my family, and then what it is? Next thing you're retired, you don't have that strong connection with your family, or there's resentment, because all you did was work, and it was not that healthy balance. So,
Well, you got to remember too, and I think COVID-19 really brought this out, was how many people relationships were only surviving because of the fact that they were together.
yeah,
People not having the ability to actually
I know each other,
Well,
figure out how to do it.
I ain't even gonna say annoying each other. I'm just saying, like, people don't know how to actively work together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say people don't, but that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
When marriages and things, when people are kind of forced to. Whoa, look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's hey, I think that means
I think that
we're
was
supposed to
closing.
not.
Everybody put their hoods on.
I know we're talking about positivity. The first thing I think of with COVID is like, I know each other, but hey, there's beauty in that. Right?
Hey, well, I mean, you got
When
both
you-
sides of the coin. Like,
Right.
some people didn't realize how much they enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Just the same as, people not realizing it. So, that being said, I do want to say this. I want to recognize this, is being consistent with the goal of the show on the positive side, because we can look at the same situation and see that it has positive attributes and negative attributes. And then you can decide to either focus on those positive ones or the negative ones, right? And not that focusing on either one means that the other one doesn't exist.
And there's pros and cons from both sides. From the
Exactly.
good side and from the bad
Exactly.
side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
And go ahead. No, go ahead.
stay a learner. Continue to learn, and you can learn from everybody.
That open mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep an open mind. I literally learn from children. I learn from my colleagues. I learn from my friends and family. Keeping my 8-year-old teaches me honesty more than anybody can teach me. This is not a kid that you can say, hey, tell somebody I'm not home when you're home. She's gonna look at you like, you're home. Why would you want me to do that? Like, it doesn't come to you, right? And so to me, I'm like, wow, what a noble character to have. Being honest to the nth degree, because life becomes easy. So my point is like, learn from everybody, and children are the best teachers.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? People who have done what you aspire to do, learn from them. It's easy to want to be around people that makes you feel comfortable. So I do self-assessment myself. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. People I surround myself with, are they challenging me? Are they keeping me healthy? Am I developing meaningful, relationships? Or I'm just comfortable because, hey, in a blind city, a person with one eye, you're doing great. So I gotta look at myself and my surroundings. Am I challenging myself? Am I growing every day? Am I learning? And am I open to learn from everybody, not the people that I think they've accomplished? Some of them.
All right.
That's it.
So listen, no, that's not it. That's great. That's a great segue into this. We are down to about just about the hour here. So I'm really excited. I want to thank everybody, for your participation. And that being said, the way I want to finish this up here is, again, if we can just drop one nugget, one piece of advice that you would have for a family or a business person who you out of the road, right? Or just an individual if it's not a family, right? But just one thing, like we've had I think a pretty broad discussion tonight, right? And so if we could just kind of that into maybe one thing that you got out of today, or one thing that you would like somebody else to get out of today. Go ahead, Mr.
Well, I just want to say what I feel is important, a little nugget, is always be truthful and honest with yourself, because if you're not being truthful and honest with yourself, then you can't, and you are not being truthful and honest with anybody else around you, right? So it all starts with self. You got to know you and be true to you.
Yeah, I can be scary.
Keep your hood on.
That's right. Keep it under the hood. Okay. There's no order, so feel free.
For me is find that mentor, really. You find that mentor that is really got a good heart, that is willing to put into you, follow that.
I like that. That's good.
I got a mentor. I got one. I got two.
Yeah.
This is one person right here. This is half and half.
There it is, right
This
there.
is half and half of a whole. This has been a great experience for me. I just want to say it's been a great experience. Before I get off
means a lot.
camera, that it's been a great experience, and I thank y'all, and I do appreciate and value everything that you've instilled, even though you don't think that you have. Everything that I've learned from you, the space and opportunity you give me to grow, and I'm going to continue to grow and take this thing as far as we can go. So, and
I'm just gonna, add into what Rob is saying, like, be kind. Kindness is free. I look at my life story, that's another chapter for another day. But I think that I am where I am today because I came across kind people who saw me, for who I was. So if you have an opportunity to be kind and help somebody, don't have them jump through the hoop because you did. Because kindness produces people like me. I think I'm a productive member of the society, and I'll do whatever I can, not to raise only healthy kids that with a positive mindset, provide for them and everything. But everybody I come across, I try to leave the room a little bit lighter than I found it. Leave the conversation a little bit lighter than I found it. I'm not always successful, but it's a commitment. It's something that I work on. Whereas to my husband and my kids too, and my family, just a little sprinkle of kindness, and catch myself when I feel like being negative and say, well, how is this gonna end? If my husband was giving me an example of staying angry, we play this little games with each other, instead of just opening my mouth and say, I don't like this, but I like this. I try to get angry. If he notice I'm angry, he's gonna get it done. And then he does the same thing too, and we end up looking at each other like, I'm angry.
Bump elbows.
Yeah, and then we laugh at the end, like, I know you was angry, but I wasn't gonna give in because you were not giving in. And at some point we're like, hey, when we do this, there are children around us, there are friends around us, and we're passing that negative energy to them, and kids get nervous, they don't know what to do. So let's be selfless, So kindness will require that level of selflessness, realizing how you impact people around you.
And one thing I wrote down here from all my notes that I didn't discuss, I'm just thinking, team encouragement, whether it's a family, a team of family, friends, or team of company, business, just that encouragement, man, and recognition of not only the bad things, but the good things, you know what I mean? Because I believe the good things make it easier for them to, endure the constructive criticism, and without it being a negative, you see what I'm saying? Because you're constantly recognizing the good things that they do, that impact would be lessened.
They know it's coming from a good place.
Right, absolutely.
That's a good point.
But it's been fun.
All right,
So
I'm gonna close it out. I'm gonna close it out beautifully. It's as if we plan for this, right? Watch how I do this. All right. So, Rob Green,
Yes, sir.
your nugget was basically to be true to yourself,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. And Mr. Sanchez, JoJo, Sanchez, yours. No. I know. I'm closing this up.
You was listening.
Yours was
Okay.
kind.
You was listening.
be kind, right? And I mean, excuse me, no, that was you. It was be kind. Yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. I got them out of order here because I just was memorizing. But anyway, so all right, so I'm gonna skip you, Joe. Don't forget you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go to you, Doc. So Doc, yours was to be kind, right?
Yeah.
And then Jojo,
Every opportunity.
every opportunity. And then Jojo, yours was to mentor, right? To find that mentor that can help, set you on your path. Right. And so my piece to this puzzle is to take notes each day about the things that you need to get done throughout the day. Right? Anything that you need to get done, check off anything that you did get done. In doing that, you will ensure at least one time in your life that you remember to do something that you would have forgot to do if you didn't write it down.
Following through.
Yeah.
So doing this will help keep you on your path. It will help you stay true.
Yeah.
It will help you be kind, and it will make you one hell of a mentor. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in to Conversations Under the Hood. I'm your host, Robert Helm.
Put your hoods on, yo.
My co-host, my beautiful wife, Dr. Linda Way Helm, Mr. George Sanchez, Robert Green. Y'all have a good evening.
All sport headgear.
We love y'all.
Peace.
Take care.
Peace.
Bye.
All right, so what did you say?